Welcome, everybody, into an all-new episode, Illiana Stock Car Radio, episode 94.
And look
We're
at us being in the
back.
studio and
Yeah.
not
Guess
floating
who's
heads
back?
on a screen.
Back
Yeah.
again.
Did you
That's-
enjoy
And
your
Jared,
few
we
weeks off?
pulled him out of the ice bath.
You had to have, man. A little banged up, a little more worse for wear. We're getting better. We're healing up, though. It's all good. It's all good in the hood, man. Hope everybody had a good 4th of July holiday. We took a little extra week off for the holiday because mainly I didn't want to edit on the 4th of July.
So what do you mean week off?
From the podcast. Week off from the podcast. You guys have been running around like madmen, and I've been
Driving around like mad.
Yeah, I've been trying to straighten out a race car, and it's
Your spine.
Yeah. We just got the final adjustment from the chiropractor this past week, so we're a little bit better.
That's a whole different kind of frame straightening.
Yeah, a little bit. Both the race car and the driver need the frame straightened just a little bit. It's so yeah, it's a deal. I didn't. Do we want to get into that now? I mean,
Well, might as well. How'd the little Tykes late model fare?
She's a little more worse for wear. Yeah, it's a little bit of cutting and grinding and welding to get it back straightened out. But good news is the car absorbed my impact. So, yeah, I think we got the frame back to as close as we're going to be able to get it this past week. So now it's just reassembly and going through the setup procedures and all that good stuff. But yeah, that was quite the experience. I did not anticipate being taken off the track in the ambulance the other night. So good stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah, but
Well, glad to see you're doing better. And now when you get those Facebook quizzes, you can, yes, I've ridden in an ambulance.
yes, I usually put yes anyways because the last race car toter S4 Motorsports had
Technically
was
an
technically the ambulance.
Technicalities.
So on a technicality that I did put yes, but yeah. So props though to the Grundy County safety crew, which we will talk about in depth here in just a minute.
They've been active,
Yeah.
apparently.
They've been pretty active, but no, they the entire crew they were great. Took care of me. It's always good. Brown guy was the first one to the car, so
Of course.
I everything was kind of a blur, so I had to obviously confirm that after the fact that he was the first one to the car, and he texted me quite a bit the
Well,
day
I
after.
can
so.
confirm I was not because you're wrecked in the wrong turn.
Yeah, I know. Even in my head, I'm like, I got to do this in turn 3 and 4 if I want a good picture of it. 'Cause I don't know if Aaron was a little late on the shutter switch or what, but
I don't think he anticipated you wrecking.
I didn't either. Especially when I was looking at the wall dead on. Yeah, really wasn't anticipating that. So yeah, it all happens quick. So. First time for everything. First time for me for that. But yeah, everybody did well. Most of the competitors came out one point or the other, checked on us, make sure we were all good, and then cars can be repaired. So all is good there. Lot of racing though between then and now, to say the least. You guys, how many miles
And some
do we
of it
think?
got canceled too.
Well, yeah. Think about that. A lot of racing has taken place, and some
there
of it's
were
gotten
2
canceled.
more races that were supposed to be on our schedule in the past 5 days.
Ironically,
I think
both
7
mine.
days now.
Yeah, both yours. Yeah, how's that work out? He gets the easy stuff. What the hell?
Let me tell you what.
But yeah, a lot of racing. Grundy County Fair was going on. 4 days of racing.
5 technically.
5 technically.
What was the fifth
technically.
one?
Power Wheel or Cheryl
gotcha.
Rins. Technically Power Wheel. It's all the cool cars that she doctored
real
up.
little tyke late
Yeah,
models.
they raced
Yeah, legit
on
little
Wednesday
tykes,
while
yeah.
we were all doing our day job.
Gotcha.
Day jobs.
Yeah.
But yeah, 4 days. So you had the demo event. You had the Stars and Stripes Enduro this past weekend. Then you had the Spirit of 76, the Big 8 late models, and then the big Super Late Model 76 show this past Saturday. Quite the contrast, though, in your actual racing shows from Friday to Saturday. So we'll go in and kind of give our thoughts on this stuff. So the Big 8 late model.
This is our hashtag 1 negative.
This is the hashtag 1 negative definitely for the show, and we'll just get into it now because why make you guys wait for that spicy hot content?
Yeah.
That'll be $14.99.
It's all downhill from here.
It is. Well, let me see here. If I can pull my notes up, I did make notes, so it's important if I take notes.
Cars go boom.
Yes, so Spirit of 76 Big 8 late model show. I'm sure a lot of you have seen by now the footage. So about with 9 laps to go, there's contact between the 52 car of Shane Radke and the 49 of Jerry Mueller in the feature. After contact, safety crews respond to the car, obviously, as you typically would for a car stopped on the front stretch, where Jerry Mueller pulled in front of Radke's car as it was sitting there on the front stretch and proceeded to back into it with the driver out and the safety crew right next to the car. So as a result of that, the Grundy County Speedway has politely told Jerry Mueller that for the remainder of the year, he is no longer welcome at the Speedway. And the Big 8 series for the next 2 Big 8 late model races, he is suspended for those, and I believe placed on probation for the rest of the season. So at least kudos for some sort of disciplinary action, because that stuff cannot be tolerated. Grundy County,
was just one of the
and
fights.
that was just one of the fights. Yes, allegedly there was more to that story, but as someone who we've already talked about has needed the safety crew in the last few weeks, it's no joke when they're on the track. It's whether it's somebody's injured or not, cleaning up a race car. It's serious business when people are out walking on a hot racetrack, and to do that, it's just childish. It's childish, and this isn't Bowman Gray, like.
It's childish at Bowman Gray.
It's childish at Bowman Gray too.
It makes for good TV, but it's not.
Here's what I don't understand as somebody who drives race cars, works on race cars. Here's what I don't understand. So if you've already wrecked your race car, you've already going to have to put time and money into it to fix it. Why tear it up more? Like,
Egos. Change my tires.
Yeah. Good old days of Thunder. But I don't understand it. Like I've been there, in the car, you're in the helmet, you got the helmet on, and that thing is like a stupid meter pegs, and you put that thing on. Like, you just get blinders on, and you see red sometimes, and I've been in there, I've done it, but at some point you got to be like, this is stupid. Like, I'm already pissed. Let's just roll off the track. We'll handle it like others did. So yeah, it is not Bowman Gray. It's stupid at Bowman Gray too when it happens. It's just dumb. It makes more work for you, more money for you. Right. It makes you look like a total asshole. So
getting charged with assault is one thing. Getting charged with vehicular manslaughter is something else.
Yeah. So it makes no sense, but yeah, I think you had given me the note, over an hour to run 38 lap feature.
Over an hour for the 38 lap Big 8 late model feature.
Yeah, the night after that, Saturday, these supers did it in 20 minutes, and I was watching
76 laps
in 20 minutes. I was watching it on the on Race Monitor because I wasn't there at the track. And I kept waiting for the caution. Like, I knew it's coming, like 76 lap late model feature. No, it's coming. It never did.
That was a whole feature full of everybody spread out like it was practice.
Yeah. So,
which doesn't make for the most exciting racing, I will be the first to admit. But after Friday night, man, that was a beautiful late model feature. I was so happy.
Like, show them how it's done, Yeah. So hopefully they can get some of that stuff cleaned up.
I think Shady Hill got all of our features in less than an hour and a half. Pretty close. But we only had 3 classes.
Well, yeah,
but still, though.
I mean, that's still impressive.
Yeah, that's not terrible.
That's impressive. An hour and a half for 38 laps.
Yeah, with a 50 lap modified race.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So good stuff.
So yeah, also this weekend was the Firecracker 50 at Shady Hill.
Yeah, got that right here, man. Brian, tell me about it.
Had a good field. I know. So Brad DeYoung, the eventual winner, actually posted early in the week he injured his back, so he wasn't going to race.
Seems to be a lot of that going around.
That happens. Trust me.
He went to the chiropractor, got adjusted.
That's it, man.
I'm good enough to go and put on. Man, it was a great race. We actually had Tyler Spalding come down out of Michigan. No Kurt, so Tyler was. By Tyler, not Kurt's son anymore. So props to him for running a good race. Ultimately gave up the lead to Brad, and Brad just kind of took off. Nobody really had an answer for him, but Nick and Jamie all ran up well. Lakeshore, Jake put on a good run. I mean, Anthony Carter had a lot of fun. He had a top 10 going and then spun late, and I think he broke something and pulled off. But ultimately, it was a good race, good field. Was really excited to see the Hell Tour come through Tuesday, but we're all waterlogged from Hurricane Beryl. Does that sound right?
That's what it looks like.
Yeah, and what I think down there was like 5-6 inches of rain. Like around here it was like 4.
Yeah, I think we got officially like 3 to 4 somewhere around here. Yeah.
All the negativity. Oh, he didn't touch the track. Oh, they don't know what they're doing. Oh, it's too early. They made the right call.
That's a lot of freaking water, man.
Hartford followed right behind them. Probably less than 24 hours they canceled. So looks like Hell Week will get their final week started Thursday. So when this airs, it'll be yesterday. And at Butler. Yeah,
a lot going on there.
So, but yeah, and then Lee Hobbs is still undefeated in stock cars, waiting for someone to beat him. Connor put on a pretty good race with him, but Hobbs is just he's got it dialed in there, man. He needs someone to compete. All you stock car drivers that have these cars that want to race, come on, put on.
And then Kenki had a King of the Hill race out there.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I wasn't out there for it. I just kind of saw the post, and it was like they just had like a verse match, 1v1, and if you won, you moved on. If you lost, that's how they kind of developed the starting grid for their double features that came later. So it was kind of neat, you know. I guess to kind of hear about it, you know, something different.
Yeah, different concept.
Yeah, right.
Then head over to Plymouth, man. 3 wide finish, 10,000 to win.
As much as the late model finish wasn't a thing at Grundy, it definitely was at Plymouth. I'm a little sad I missed it.
What the heck, Chris?
What, they have 60?
Haven't figured out how to clone yourself yet?
More than 60 entries?
We need a third one now.
Yeah. We need Plymouth to run Sundays.
Well, no, they tried to, and they got canceled.
Yeah, right. Because one of the cars, I guess, broke down.
Several apparently broke down and parked right smack on the mini wedge track.
Well, that's where they told them to pull, so that's where they pulled.
Yeah. So Steve Stacy won that.
Not much.
Yeah, probably about an inch.
700ths between first and third.
Yeah.
It was like a Gannis was second, and or was Maynard.
Maynard, I think, was third.
So then Gannis, I think, was second.
Sure.
I thought it was a black number 5, and that's why
that would be Gannis. Yeah.
So.
Don't quote us. You can look at the Plymouth Speedway's Facebook page probably for the results.
We have to maintain our less than professional, so you know.
That's true. Yeah, we're semi-professional.
Yeah, right.
Amateur
tattoo artists. Yeah, exactly.
But we also had the Chicago Street Race.
Yes,
that was
once again
still waterlogged.
Yeah, a little bit better for the Xfinity race. So that was pretty cool to see Larson and SVG going back and forth.
Yeah,
like that.
Then they were both out early.
Yes. Yeah. So a lot going on here with this Chicago Street Race and Brickyard.
I'll tell you all the drama that I have heard on Sirius XM this week about NASCAR and timed races.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about that, and you talk about we mentioned a little bit ago retaliation stuff, a little bit of controversy surrounding that.
Bubba's
$50,000.
Yep. So he's $50K lighter.
I was talking with Aaron after that race, and I said, I understand a little bumper tag after the race, and oftentimes it's not enough to really warrant, but door slamming somebody, and even though Bowman has come out and said, "Hey, I earned it. I forgive him. He didn't hit me as hard as it looked like he did."
Still look pretty bad.
Just like under caution. Don't be screwing around with cars.
Yeah,
they're big. They're dangerous.
Well, and at that rate, you're a professional, right?
Yeah, send him a nasty text.
Yeah. Yeah. Post something negative on Twitter like everybody else. I mean, come on. Yeah. But I mean, you talk about the retaliation stuff at the local level. It all kind of starts there. I mean, and trickles its way down.
Rubbin is racing. Rubbin is not racing.
It is not, especially ask the guys at Slinger Nationals this past week. When you don't even give the guy a chance to make the corner, chicken move. Really, I mean, that's kind of the way it is. So, but still, man, there's a lot going on.
Triple check the roof height.
Yeah, might want to make sure you're legal before you do that.
What a feat! Let me go qualify first. Get DQ'd. Have to start at the back of the last chance race. Make it into the feature. Start dead last in the feature. Just about it, I think, and then win the damn thing all to get DQ'd
again.
Oh man, ain't that a kick in the nuts?
So make sure your car's legal.
Yep.
I think that's the PSA for today, right?
Yeah. Don't
one of several.
Don't hit anybody after the fact.
Just don't hit anybody.
And make sure you're legal.
Yeah. So there's our PSAs for all you drivers out there for the races coming up this week, and we will get to those. The schedule to be here after our interview segment this week. So, Brian, you want to tell us about the interview guests you lined up for this week?
Cherry on top of this 3 weeks.
It makes me hungry, kind of.
This week, Sunday, we had plenty of fudge and sprinkles.
Cherry on top of this week's Sunday.
We got cherry on top.
This guy go.
So we're bringing in.
How much time and effort did you put into that?
Actually, cumulatively, probably about 30 minutes. I had about 4 or 5 different names to the show, and then I'm like, no, this is dumb. That's stupid. What can this, Then I forgot he had texted. Our guest had messaged me and said, leading into the Hell Tour race that got rained out, he said, we got cherry on rails. So Cherry is the name of his car.
So there we go.
But our guest, fresh off, because he hasn't raced since, fresh off his first late model feature win overall, but happened at Shady Hill Speedway, June 29th, is the driver of the 21K late model, Jacob Colwick, from local, I want to say Griffith area.
Yes.
So,
So, I think nothing else to it really, but
get to it.
Let's get out of here and put him to work.
I know we're gonna put him to work, and we'll be back in about 30 minutes to kind of reflect.
29 minutes and 57 seconds.
Yeah, right on the way.
I'm going to guess that.
So please, I don't know, join us in welcoming Jacob to Illiana Stock Car Radio.
First time on the show.
First timer.
Welcome aboard Illiana Stock Car Podcast Radio. Excuse me, I said that wrong again. Illiana Stock Car Radio Podcast. I did it with Stephen Brooks. It must be one of the kinky key things. Anyway, welcome in to the show, Jacob Colwick, driver of the number 21K late model in the area at Kankakee and now kind of Shady Hill. You're racking up some points over there.
Yeah, we kind of become a little bit of a international world traveler here lately. We went down to Alabama, ran 2 nights down there. We did there at the beginning of the year. We were at Charleston Speedway and Kankakee, and then just with the price of everything right now, fuel, all of that stuff, it's been a little bit nicer to be a little closer to home and going to Shady Hill. And, the competition there has actually been really good too. So it's been a lot of fun to go over there and race.
Good. Well, I know that you raced there for a little while and kind of found your way elsewhere for a little bit and have now found your way back to Shady Hill in the late model. I know you ran the Bomber a couple times out there. Was it a Chevelle body?
Yeah, it was a Chevelle body. And little did very many people actually know I ran a 4-cylinder out there back in 2008. It was when they had the Barefoot Minis out there a long time ago in
That's
the Stone
before my
Ages.
time.
Yeah, we had a
Honda
Honda Prelude, and I ended up sending that motor to a little motor heaven, and then we put a Mustang together and finished out the year. And unfortunately, the whole 2008 market, housing crisis, all of that, It really killed a lot of things, and we stepped away until I bought the Chevelle from Kenny Levatus in August of 2017.
Yeah.
So and that's when we made our return back to the circle track life.
And that car actually had origins from Dream One Motorsports, did it not?
Yeah, that was actually... It's funny, and many people say you can't do it, but somehow or another, this car's an enigma, and we figured out a way to do it. It was a Sean Welcher, One Dream Motorsports Chevelle that he raced at Illiana there at the very end, and then it changed hands to Tommy Sutton. It went out to Plymouth. Tommy Sutton had some success with it and raced it for a little bit, and then it went to Kenny Levatus, and then along the roads, it ended up in our shop, and we started racing it in Plymouth and Shady Hill and Key, Kokomo, traveling around with it, and had quite a bit of success with that car too.
So speaking of success, you're now back where you started at Shady Hill, but now you found your way to Victory Lane, this time in a late model. Tell us about that.
Hey, pinch me and ask me if I'm still dreaming, because even, it's been 2 weeks now since we won that one, and it's still really hard to believe it. I mean, we stepped up into the late model class 2 years ago. We had that rocket. Our first year was fun. We had a little bit of, success, some good runs. Last year, it was that sophomore slump season. We just struggled all year long, couldn't get nothing going. And then this year, the fine gentleman down at Southern Racing Enterprise, they approached me about, going into a TNT chassis car, and we stepped up into it. And, I sold everything I could, worked all the overtime I could, sold my soul to the devil, and we went to this new car, and it's been an absolute blast. And we had that feeling that it was coming. We've had really good runs. We've been up front. When we went down to Alabama, we ran second on a Friday night to, some really good Crate USA guys. Saturday night, we traveled over to another track and ran fourth against open late models. And it's like, okay, cool. We got everything starting to jive. Everything's hitting on all cylinders. Now, when's it going to come? And Saturday night, man, I don't know if you could actually script it any better to get your first win. We were second quick in practice, led all 8 laps of the heat race, and then led every lap of the feature and picked up our first win. I don't know if you could script one any better, and it's still kind of hard to believe we actually did that.
Yeah. So you talk about being in a different car. TNT is the TNT race cars.
Yes.
You said this guy found you, so you must be popular somewhere. How did he find you?
Well, actually, Jeffrey and Bill are the owners of Southern Racing Enterprise. Jeffrey is my cousin. He called me last year about October. Me and my dad were talking about possibly upgrading into a newer car, not a brand new car, but something a little new. The Rocket, it's a blue gray, it's stone aged. Let's upgrade into an XR1 or something like that. Kind of get up with the times.
Yeah.
And we were talking with Bill and Jeffrey, and they simply were like, hey, TNT's looking to try and expand and get up here in the Midwest. If we can help you, what would you be interested in? We followed up with what's it going to take? And one thing led to another. And in April, I believe it was, we went and picked up our brand new car.
Awesome. And you've named this car Cherry.
Yes.
How did you come to that name? I know your last one was Dreamsicle, so we're kind of fruit forward on this.
Well, I guess you can call it the racer superstition or whatever. Yeah. Some believe it, some don't. I believe every car has a heart and soul, and you got to find its heart and soul.
Yeah.
The Chevelle was nicknamed Sally Ann. Then the Rocket late model, that was Dreamsicle. Then this one's Cherry, and it's just, a brand new car. It's red, it's a cherry kind of thing. It's actually the old man came up with it, and we just kind of stuck with it and ran with it. Yeah. So it's just, we feel that every car's got to have a name, and then once you find out what its name is, you found its heart and soul, and then you can gel as one, and everything starts working.
Yeah, good. So let's talk about your journey into racing. Where did it start? I know we talked a little bit. June 29th, that night, you guys ultimately won, and we talked about back in the old days, people had to pit across almost in the cornfield, for the big shows out there. So where did your journey start into racing?
Well, I'm actually third generation into the dirt late models. My grandfather, Guy Pleasant, he used to race with the famous, or was the car owner, crew chief, I should say, for Dick Potts and some of the other, local legends in the area. And he had a lot of success in his career. And then my uncle, Rusty Pleasant, and my father, they got together in the 90s and started hobby stocks out at Crown Point, and then later would move into the late models. And then Rusty stuck with it. My dad, he ended up working in the steel mills and kind of drifted away from racing. And it was one of those, I was always born into it and born around it. So eventually you kind of figure some way, shape, or form I was going to get into it. And I had always had that dream of wanting to be a late model driver one day. So, we started with that 4-cylinder. Things went south on that deal. Wasn't none of our doing. It was just, economy at that time. And then I had the opportunity to get into that Chevelle. And we ran it for 3 years, had the success with it, and we wanted to step up. And we had talked about going UMP stock car or doing like a UMP stock car, IMCA kind of car deal. And we, ran numbers and looked at everything, and it was like, well, let's just go late model. I mean, there's not really a big financial difference here, either which way. Yeah. So we stepped up into the late models, and it's been a journey and a blast ever since. I mean,
so this is your third year behind the wheel of a late model.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. And it only took you 3 years to find victory lane in it. That's a pretty sweet deal.
It's funny to say that because I was just talking to my teammate Damian Wilmoth, and we were in the shop the other day talking, and I said, it's weird. It seems like it always happens in threes for me.
Yeah.
The Chevelle, it took 3 years for us to get our first heat race and feature wins. And our second year in the Chevelle, if you remember the white one that we ran, it was a catastrophe of a season. I mean, I broke every front end part, rear end parts. It was just one thing after another, and then that happened with the late model. So if I ever decide to go to another class of car,
it's going to be 3 years.
Just tell me to park it the second year and wait for that third year.
Yeah, right. Well, maybe that would mean your third year would actually be pretty rough if you just park it for the second one, right?
Maybe we just
superstition.
Skip over that.
Yeah, just for if you move up a class, just paint it green that second year and have some fried chicken, and you'll have all your bases covered, right? Your bad luck is your bad luck.
Oh, something.
And then when you come out year 3, you'll be all good. So let's talk about we're Illiana guys here, and there's a photo. I don't know if I saw it in one of mine and my brother's albums, but there's a photo of you floating around in a Rita Field shirt down on the front stretch for an autograph session. So talk about your Illiana days.
So that was a deal. I was back in high school, and Sean Welcher has been a family friend of ours ever since I was pretty much born. I mean, he's going to kill me for saying this, and if he hears it, I'm sorry. He used to babysit me back when I was real little. So we always stayed, in contact, and they were looking for crew help.
Yeah.
And I was still in high school. I was like, well, this be cool, go help. So that was when Rita Field started with her, I believe it was the purple and flame car that year.
Yeah.
And Sean was running a street stock at the time. So that was kind of, we started asphalt, and I just was out there helping Sean and Rita, and we helped with them for 2 years before I ended up graduating high school and going to college. But it was pretty fun. I mean, I won't say it any different on dirt racing and asphalt. I mean, there's pros and cons to both of them, and it was pretty fun. We had a lot of fun doing it.
Good. What do you like more, wrenching on cars or driving them?
Depends on what day of the week it is and how much stuff got tore up. But there's different aspects. I mean, I love being able to build and create things, the fabrication and everything like that into them. So like the off season, building bodies or, building it from the ground up. That's the fun part.
Yeah.
Sometimes, during the week, the maintenance stuff, it's monotonous, and it's just, repetitive, and it gets annoying sometimes, but it's what we got to do.
Yeah.
The driving side of it, there ain't nothing any better. I mean, you can just shut your brain off. It's your car on a track doing something you love. It's an adrenaline high like no other. So, I mean, it's hard to, differ between the two. I would probably say driving it mainly, but
nothing like sliding it into turn 3 and missing that divot at Shady Hill, right?
That gets kind of hard some nights, but last time out it was turn 1 divot. I seem to hit it every single time.
Yeah, right in your line, right?
Oh yeah.
Didn't matter though. You still got the W.
Yeah. I tried giving that one up. I can't remember the gentleman's name out of Michigan that was in that 11 car.
So it's Corey Osra's car, but actually Justin White, Dirty White Boys Racing.
Oh, was that who that was?
He was wheeling it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I tried giving that race to him probably 4 or 5 times. I hit that bump, would shove up the track, turn down, try and cut his line, and it was what they would say a technical race.
Yeah, sure.
But it was fun. Like
Good.
I said, I've had a lot of fun being down there.
Awesome. Well, hopefully you keep it up, and hey, by the way things look, you may pull off a top 5 in points. If this keeps going the way it is.
We're hoping so. I mean, we got into the points hunt last year with the UMP National and the regional points, and it really stresses you out when you figure every single week you've got to have a good run. If something happens, you've got to run 2 times a week to try and stay up in the points, because you've got guys that are running 2-3 times a week, and it wears you down. I'll be honest, by midsummer last year, I just wanted to be done. We had some problems with the car. The car wasn't working the way we wanted it to. Stuff breaking, this, that, and the other. And it just by mid-season, you were so wore down that it was just, I want to be done. So this year we've had a lot more fun with just going and racing. It didn't matter where the points were, what track we went to. We're just out going and racing this year, and it's been a whole lot more fun.
Yeah. So I actually have on here, I wanted to talk to you a little bit, because you've chased some races and some talent and some money. What do you like better? The points racing? Obviously, you said it's pretty stressful, or you've talked about reeling your traveling back in a little bit because of gas prices and having to board people and whatnot. But what do you prefer more? Points racing locally and chasing that end of the year money, or do you like going wherever, whenever?
I really do like racing with some of the guys locally. It's fun when you've got a good group of guys you can race with and we're all friends. But I've also wanted to be, as a driver myself, I wanted to be that guy that can go anywhere and be fast. I don't want to be a one-track wonder, somebody that you just show up and you're like, yeah, that's the track he runs at all the time. He's going to be fast. I've always wanted to travel around, go to different tracks. I've got bucket list tracks that I actually just want to go to turn laps on, just to be able to say I've went there and turned laps on them. So, and it does get exciting, and it's pretty cool when you're out on the road and you meet new people and you become friends with them and stuff. We went down to Alabama and, made friends with the Bradford family and this, that, and the other. And, now we talk back and forth. We've been down to Southern Illinois and met a couple people down there that we became friends with. And lo and behold, they went to St. Louis and raced their modified at Dome. So, it becomes, one of those, you become a bigger family, and that's what's enjoyable about it.
Seems to be the common denominator in racing is family and friends or relationships.
Oh yeah. We that's all it is. I mean, it's just a big family. No matter where you go, we've been here locally and had a good time with people. Tore something up and there was people there to help try and put it back together. And we've been 4 or 5 hours away from home and tore stuff up, or had the guy next to us tear stuff up. And it's like, hey man, I've got some stuff if you need it.
Yeah.
And that's what, I always talk about. That's what I feel like modern racing is kind of missing, is it's that old generation of racing where everybody was there to help everybody and still race and have a good time.
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of lost its way here lately.
Right. I know a big thing for me growing up was always going into the pits after the races, and getting to sit in cars and get autographs and stuff. And I know that racers and teams alike would always be having beers and post-race food or whatever have you. And, showing up at the dirt tracks, everybody's gone, You got a couple guys that hang out, but like for the most part, like everyone, they load up, they go home, and I know during things like Hell Tour, they got to go 3-4 hours away to their next race, and they're not going to stick around. But I feel like that's part of the reason. Like I kind of fell in love with racing was that camaraderie.
Oh yeah. I remember, like you said, I grew up out at Crown Point. That was the track we would usually go to on Saturday night, and I remember 3-4 in the morning, you would still be back in the pits and everybody would be hanging out, talking, bench racing. And I remember going to the Denny's or something like that on US 30, and everybody would sit down and eat breakfast. And, now it seems like unless you're teammates or something like that, real close friends that race together, it don't seem like really anybody does that kind of stuff anymore, and like you said, the kids in the pits, it don't even seem like they really, after the races are over, everybody just clears out. I remember, the Crown Point days, even the Illiana days when we raced with the stock cars there, after the races were done, you'd see the kids running through the pits and all the adults and stuff. It just seems like you said, it just seems like it kind of lost touch on that. And, and we've been trying, and we go take the cars to car shows, and just a couple weeks ago, we went to an event for a church, and to see the kids, light up when they see them, and even adults. I had a gentleman. He absolutely fell in love with the race cars. Never even seen one a day in his life. Didn't even know what they were.
Wow.
Talked with him for 10 minutes, man, and he was absolutely blown away.
That's a spaceship on wheels.
That's pretty much.
Yeah. Awesome. I know S4 Motorsports really pushes those. Like I think they do twice as many shows as they do races. We can get a confirmation on that from Team S4 over there in the background. But yeah, getting and you want to talk about growing the sport. It's the youth, the up and comers. Like if they don't get to have fun and enjoy it, are they gonna buy in and do it for a living like you did? You bought it. Granted, you had 2 generations ahead of you pushing it down your throat, kind of thing. But ultimately, like if you didn't enjoy it as a kid, you wouldn't be here today talking about your first feature win.
Oh yeah, I mean,
in a late model.
It's in every sport though. I mean, you look at kids that play baseball. It's a love of the sport kind of thing, and that's like you said. We need to get more of the youth involved in the love of the sport. Now, granted, the times have been hard lately. The price of things are through the roof and everything else, and it's making it harder for an 18 and 19 or a 20-year-old to put together a car.
Right.
But I mean, if we can find ways to try and help that, Billy Nippenberg with the factory Ford Crown Vic class,
You can rent a car to race.
yeah,
You don't even have to own it.
I don't know how much it is to rent one, but I mean, you can rent one and see if that's what you want to do,
Right.
And put a 4-cylinder together and stuff like that, and you follow the same path I did. You start at the bottom and you just through hard work and dedication, you'll find your way up to the top of it.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's all in the youth. I mean, how many new drivers do you see at the local tracks that are under the age of 25?
Right. We got quite a few in that 4-cylinder class. We do. But I mean, even then we still have a lot of over 25 and 30-year-olds that are, that's just what fits their pocketbook.
Yeah. Yeah. And, and I'm very fortunate. I've got some great sponsors that back us. My mom and dad, they support me to no end.
Yeah.
The dad's always out in the shop every single day of the week working on mine and Damien's cars. My mom, she does everything she can to help promote and help, do our merchandise and working with our sponsors. And I'm fortunate enough, I've got a job to where it helps to be able to afford all it is. But I mean, it's still a strain sometimes. You get a bad week, it's a strain on the pocketbook.
Yeah.
But, going back, to the 4-cylinder stuff, that's a class that's really grown in probably the last, I'd say 5-10 years. It seems like there's a ton of new blood in that class. And,
every week, every week, somebody new showing up to Shady Hill.
And that's what's good, because there's the start.
Yeah.
That's, when you go fishing, that's the hook, line, and sinker to bait them and get them.
Yeah.
And then later on they can move up if they feel like they can afford it and whatnot. But it's definitely trying times right now to try and get new blood into it.
Certainly. So, wrapping things up with you, what's one positive that racing has had an impact on you? We see so much negativity. In fact, I mentioned a Facebook Live video that Billy Nippenberg had posted. We were watching a little bit of it, and he was kind of laying it out there, and he has done before. This is what it costs. This is what we need to survive, and we're struggling to survive. And, someone chimes in with something small that's negative, like, oh, you should have done this, you should have done that, whatever. So there's plenty of negative about racing. So we here have the hashtag one positive. That was thanks Tony Eldridge for starting that years ago before my time on the show. And I'm happy to carry it on. But what's one positive that racing has had as an impact on your life?
It's shown me how to persevere through the hard times. Racing, it's a roller coaster. It's an up and down thing. And, when I was in college, I worked for a drag race team. We traveled the country, and we had a lot of downs in our industry then. A lot of bad things happened, and I've seen good friends get killed in racing incidences and stuff. So it's been a way to, the hard's not as hard as you think it is.
Yeah.
You just got to kind of, what's the old expression? Tie your boots up and keep marching on.
Strap them up.
Yeah. And that's one thing it's really taught me, and the dedication factor of it, and the organization and everything you have to have for running a racing operation. You translate that over to life, and it makes everything so much easier. And like you just mentioned, the negativity. One thing that social media here lately has seemed like it's been an upswing and a downswing for us. I mean, it's been the positive and the negative. There's some great things we've seen, but it just seems like there's so many people that's got them little negative comments, and it's what's really kind of hurting our sport right now.
Right. Kind of feels like the wolves are at the door.
Yeah. It kind of feel like Mitch Strabinsky or one of them, have a bad
get out
weekend.
of town.
Yeah.
Right.
Have a bad race weekend. And you got everybody on there chiming in, telling you should have done this, you should have done that. And it's, sometimes you just want to write back and go, if you think you got the answers to it, why don't I'll put you in my car for a weekend, or come run this racetrack for a weekend. I think Gordy Gundaker said it best in his
Yep.
post. We'll let you run it for a weekend and tell everybody you're running it. And when it goes terrible,
Yeah.
now you know what we go
Yeah.
through.
I know the Sour management team is not they're not shy to, and they don't mince words. And props to them because they put on a good show. They had a good one last weekend. And ultimately everyone was happy because it was a good show, right? But certainly somebody got on there and probably said something negative about it. And applause to that management team and everything they're doing with Plymouth Speedway. And I want to take a minute and rewind the clock real quick to I think it was not long after your feature win. You made a post that kind of you can reinforces your one positive. You had a pretty lengthy post with one of my photos, and you talked about racing and takes everything you got, and you finally get there, and guess what? It's gonna ask for more. So why don't you elaborate on that post a little bit?
Just like you said, I mean, it takes everything you've got. I work a 12-hour shift at the steel mill every single day. I work straight midnights, that way I can be able to race on the weekends. I come home, I get 2-3 hours of sleep. I'm right back in the shop. It takes everything, cars get torn completely apart during the week, put back together, maintenance. When it's 100 degrees outside, we're still in the shops. We'd love to be in the air conditioning and relaxing, but, we're out in the shops, we're doing our thing. And then, like the weekend I won, it had to have been every bit of 100, 110 that day. It was pretty spicy.
Yeah.
And, and we're out there in that sun baking on us, sitting in the race cars, yeah, we got the little creature comforts of having, a helmet blower, but it don't help when that sun's baking on you. And, you're out there in the elements all the time, the wind, the heat, the cold, when the winter times come, the fall and all of that.
Yeah.
And it just takes every ounce of everything you have. It'll find its way to take every little bit and then more.
Yeah.
Like I said last year with our old car, that was a very challenging year for us. We seeked for help to try and help us with our setup and get us caught up to speed. And it just challenged us all year long. But to be where we're at, I guess you should say, we just kind of put our head down and kept bowling through it,
Yeah.
Just don't quit. That's the attitude you got to have, is just a don't quit attitude, because eventually all the hard work, the dedication, the blood, the sweat, the tears, the long hours, the arguments with wives and girlfriends, family telling you you're missing this, you're missing that, it all pays off when you finally get that win and you can stand up on the roof or the side of your car.
Yeah.
Scream out that celebratory scream. And
there was a lot of emotion when you got to victory lane.
Yeah, and that was years of just being beat down, and then finally you've done it. That I took everything I had and it finally paid off and worked for me.
Awesome. Great. Would you like to take the last minute we have here to thank your supporters and sponsors? I know you got a long list.
Oh, it's yeah. I mean, we got, like I said, we got some great sponsors. I got it, like I said, Bill and Jeffrey at SRE, Tony, Jensen Ford, Mick, all the guys at TNT Chassis. They build an amazing car. I've had an absolute pleasure driving this car this year. Will at Damage Auto Works, he's been one of our big sponsors ever since we started with the Chevelle. He's been supporting us ever since. JTS Towing, Titles by Mitch, Renegade Truck and Trailer Repair, Lane Group. They've been on board with us since we started the late model deal and all of that. All of my friends and family that's been there, just keep going. It's coming. And everybody that reached out, even after we got that first win, it was overwhelming to see how many people actually not know you, but follow you and are interested in what you've done. And I got to give a big thank you. And one of those, I couldn't have done it without them. Like I said, my mom and dad, and dad's always in the shop. He's always at the track.
Yeah.
When he's not feeling good, when he's feeling good, he's still there. Wherever that car's at, he's always going to be there. My mother, she's always there. Damien, my stepsister, Kirsten, my girlfriend, Tristan, they're pretty much at every single race there to help out, even if he's not got his car there to race. it takes a village, they say, and I've definitely got one hell of a village backing me, and I couldn't do it without everybody that's there to support us, and sponsors, friends, fans, family, everybody that's there. I couldn't be where I'm at right now without them.
Sure. You got a great group, and I'm happy that Shady Hill was your first late model feature win. And I got to capture that moment, man. It was sweet. I got some awesome pictures that I know you got now too.
Oh yeah, so, you captured the moment, and those will be some nice pictures to hang up on the wall for future.
Sure. Thanks for coming on. We really appreciate it, Jacob.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Brian, your interview skills are coming along nicely.
Yeah.
I haven't been able to talk to anybody for 3 weeks.
Been cooped up a little bit, just itching to talk to somebody.
Yeah, I guess. Man, Jacob's a good dude. I tell you what.
Does Kelsey not talk to you?
Oh, I mean, we talk, but we don't talk racing.
Yeah, makes sense.
Makes it tough. It's usually like, don't be out too late, be safe tonight, instead of, I ran that guy up the wall, and this shit and that shit, So different kind of talking, right?
No, racing talk,
dude. It's I love talking to Jacob. I actually spent quite a bit of time with him and Damien that night before on June 29th, and talking about their previous week there, and how Jacob ran a good race, and had all kinds of questions for Damien, because he had a racer's incident, depending on who you ask, where he ended up on that little berm there going into turn 3, and he found out it's a very long walk down that back stretch. When I got to ask, and I said, it's kind of deceptive, ain't it? You don't think it's that long, but it's long.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's a joke in there somewhere. I'll let y'all figure that out. But yeah, so
I feel like that's what she said was in order there.
Oh yes. And so it was just a good night overall that night, and I'm glad that it ended up the way it did, and Jacob got his first late model feature win, and like I said, I was there to capture it all, because I know, I miss a lot of shots, but I also get a lot of shots, and I got every one of his, and so it was really cool. And if you look at him, there's a lot of emotion that he let out that night, and he didn't cry, but man, he climbed up on his car, and I bet you could hear him all the way up here in Northwest Indiana with how loud he yelled. But it was awesome, and to see his crew come down out of the pits all excited, his mom, his dad, the whole gang, and his Damien and his girlfriend, who I think is Jacob's stepsister, and Jacob's girlfriend. I mean, it was
like a racing family tree.
Mm-hmm, sounds about right.
It was awesome, and you listen to him talk about it, man, and it's exciting to see those things and hear those things, and like that. That's what keeps me doing what I'm doing, is the people that show that emotion and have that emotion and express it, and I'm there to catch it, like I get great car shots. Sure. I'm told it all the time, but ultimately I'm there to capture the emotion, because a lot of racing photographers they stand between the turns, and that's all they do. Right.
Mm-hmm.
I've been wandering around the pits.
I wasn't saying it was you.
But, that sounded like shade to me.
Well, he does come from that hill.
He will die on that hill.
Boom.
But
I follow a lot of different racing photographers, and I see a lot of what they shoot, and a lot of guys, a lot of photographers, there's females too, but they just post their car shots, and that's it. And it's like, did you do anything else? And long ago, I learned from Kerry Martin, of all people, that you can only buy so many pictures of a race car. So you got to do different angles, right? Okay, car's covered. Well, what else can I take, So wander the pits and grab some people shots, because ultimately it's the people to make this thing go.
Yeah, without
and capture that emotion is just
don't
exciting.
Take this the wrong way, but I haven't seen too many race cars drive themselves yet.
Give it time. Give it time. I'm sure Elon Musk is working on something.
Yeah, well, I won't even go there. We're not even going to go there. We're not going to go there. He had a lot of good stuff to say. A lot of good insight on the status of local short track racing and stuff. Yeah. And something that kind of stood out to me that I'll speak to that he talked about was interaction with fans and stuff after the races.
Yeah.
When we had the Mini Cup out a couple weeks ago, typically at Grundy County Speedway, the mini cups park off the backstretch. Obviously, they're way out in the back.
Got to pack a lunch to visit the photo booth.
Pretty much. So for us, we park with the late models on the kind of the main pit pad and off the pit grandstand. So we had a little car out there too. So that was the first one any of the fans would come to. The fans just were enthralled with that thing. Much probably to Stan's dismay because he likes that thing. He hates that thing gets more attention.
I've heard him say the same thing about all the car shows. Everybody
loves the little car, and even though the thing was sitting there in the pad, torn up, leaking oil, everything else, people wanted their pictures with it. I autographed stuff it's never been a thing. Like I've never had that before, but that was the first one of those cars that they came to, and everybody just loved it. They ate it up, and it was great. So
Park Super Cups closer to pit entrance.
Well, I mean, it's something that's different. It's interesting. They can't really fathom or wrap their head around how a full size adult can fit in something so small, which. It is a challenge to do. So that kind of enthusiasm, kind of to what he mentioned, I haven't really seen or felt that since Illiana. Yeah. Usually when we're going to Grundy, and it's just because we got such a long ride home, we try to load the car up and get out as quick as possible. Just because we got to ride home, and it's usually late, and it's midnight, 1 o'clock before you're getting back home,
or leaving the track.
Leaving the track some nights.
They get late models.
yeah, depending. So, but to have like that, we were waiting for tech on the late model at that point for some things in the pad. So, it was after the gate open. I think they
did that top 3 thing.
Yeah, we did. Stan's getting good at that.
Yeah.
So yeah, we usually have to wait around for tech. So yeah, pit's kind of open and people are walking through and they're interacting, they're talking with you. And I do feel like that is kind of lacking anymore from what it was at Illiana. He's right. So hopefully we can maybe see a little bit more of that.
I can attest first person story. That's what got me into racing.
Yeah, that's the excitement stuff. Like you see something happen on the track, or your friends are racing, and you're up in the stands watching them. You're like, oh well, when we're done, we'll go talk to them. We'll go see how the night was and everything else. And that just doesn't happen as much anymore for whatever reason. Either it's time, logistics, whatever.
Right.
So yeah, I thought it was interesting that he talked about that. That's something I really kind of picked up on.
Yeah.
Anything else from his spot here that stuck out to you guys?
I think he also spoke. We talked about the traveling versus kind of points racing, and I'm hearing it quite a bit that people are racing where they're racing because it's close.
Yeah.
And to think we have tracks shutting down, left and right, and cheers to Montpelier for trying to get things going again. And I think their first race is this weekend. Of their 4 events that I think they're having this year, that having that local spark, you're more apt to sit around Illiana because you only got a 30-minute drive home as opposed to an hour and a half drive home.
100%.
So I think it was High Limit had a night of racing where they were done by like 9:55, and the pits were just jam packed with fans and kids alike.
Because Saturday night at Grundy, I feel like the pits were really hard for us to drive through on our way out compared to Friday night when it was just, all right, we'll see you next week.
Yeah. Parents want to get their kids home to bed. Parents want to get home to bed.
Yep.
They probably, the night ran long, so they probably had 2 or 3 more beers extra.
Well, and that's maybe a deal. The tracks that run on Friday, I mean, not an Octogrundy, they've done it forever, but everybody works a full day, and then you come out to the racetrack, and then
Grundy's shifting earlier too.
Yeah.
And, Caleb, kudos to him. He is really pushing for getting the racing program done as fast as not as fast as possible. But I did mention to Joe that I wanted my money back Saturday because I didn't get my hours worth of late model feature like I did Friday night.
Right.
But we had Saturday down to a tight 2 hours. So I think Caleb's after that like 2.5 hours sweet spot. We start at 7:30. We're done by 10.
Well, you think too, that's most kids anymore. Their attention span is short, and even adult attention span anymore with the phones and stuff in your pocket.
I've been checking our booth sales under caution.
Yeah. I'll if there's a race going on or like Stanley Cup finals were going on last couple of weeks, like we'll check into games. We'll do all that stuff. So keeping people's attention span for 3 or 4 hours is just not as feasible as it used to. So if you can get a show in 2 hours, and then maybe they're still awake, they're still apt to maybe want to go into the pits afterwards and interact with the drivers and whatnot.
Well, and it keeps the drivers around too.
Yeah, it keeps us around because now we're like, oh well, it's only 9 o'clock. We'll hang out for a half hour or whatnot, and you're still home, at a decent time. So, but yeah, in the traveling aspect,
I tell you what, coming home Saturday night was weird because there were still cars on the road.
Yeah. Usually
we were coming through Lake County like, there's a lot of people out here.
Yeah. I definitely do think kind of what he said in traveling versus the local stuff was interesting too.
And something that I don't remember if he brought it up, but it was something Brian and I were talking about on the way over tonight. Something I've been talking to all of my promoters about is, it's cheaper to stay local too.
Yeah.
Racing's stupid expensive right now. Going to as a fan, going into the stands is stupid expensive.
Yeah, I think that's the hardest thing as a fan, just to go, because anywhere we go, it's at least an hour drive to get there as a fan. So to make the drive, to sit in the stands for a couple hours, and then to have to drive home after, it's like, we'll just go the next time we go to the racetrack. Next time we go to drive.
So many of the big money shows or the touring series, they're streaming anyway.
Yeah, it is. So it is a thing, so to his point. But anyways, if you want to travel to the racetrack, we got a lot of racing coming up still. We're early in July.
We're at the halfway point.
Yeah, I mean, our Hell Week is over.
Yours is. I only shot once.
Yeah,
I've still got about 400 left. By the time this gets posted, I'll have finished it.
Yeah. Will you be ready to go to Grundy? We have all your prints printed.
We'll see.
Yeah, we gotta, we only got a few more minutes here. Well, it's 18 minutes on the timer, but we gotta hurry that up because you got an ass load of pictures still to go through. So
yeah, we brought home 6,132.
You brought home. I brought home like maybe 800.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, well, like I said on that post, and Brian went to the dirt track.
Yeah, right.
So
and mini wedges got canceled, and Hell Tour got canceled. So that's 2 days of pictures we didn't have to edit.
Right. Oh well.
Yeah.
Wish it would have happened, but life goes on.
It does.
We head into next week.
Yep. And speaking of next week or this week, either way how that works out.
About 5 minutes after you watch this podcast.
Grundy County Speedway. This week, July 12th here. Illinois State Champions double feature night. So that is on tap, and that's on Friday, because on Saturday you have the Wayne Carter Classic, the ASA Midwest Late Model Tour. Midwest Trucks will invade the Grundy County Speedway as well, and along with the Midwest Dash Cars. 4 cylinders, I believe. So
it is, yeah. It's the I don't think it's the Vors series. It's similar, the fancy 4 cylinders basically.
Yep. So we got that. So a lot coming up there at the track this weekend. 7/19. So it'll be July 19th. You got Kids Night.
Yeah, rescheduled from the last rainouts. I don't know if it's just me, but it seems like there's been a lot of rain this year. Not just in the past 48 hours.
Yeah, a lot in the last 48 hours, that's for sure. But speaking of the 19th, kind of a big deal. So Midwest Mayhem Midgets will be running on the 19th at the Grundy County Speedway, and joining that is sprint car legend Slammin' Sammy Swindell.
Yeah, that was fun.
So that will be fun. Always good to have the big names come out, and I'm sure he can still wheel a race car.
Sure
so that will be cool to see out there. Shady Hill Speedway, Brian, what do we got coming up?
This weekend is just normal five classes. We're gonna go ahead and qualify stock cars. So as I was saying, stock of cars.
Stock of cars.
Sorry, words.
That's all right. We can edit that out or leave it in.
No,
we're leaving it in.
We're leaving it in.
Stock cars are qualifying. So as I said earlier, stock cars, come on out, man. Lee Hoff is just running the table here, and it's. I mean, you still get a decent race, but I'd like to see some more stock cars. And then
just pray the internet doesn't go out in the towers. So we have the Ron Goodake Memorial Hand Scoring Night again.
Yeah, right. And then next week on the 20th, because we aren't doing a show next week, will be the Enduro 100 with 4 classes. Late models are off, but back to that Enduro thing. So
I Sunday at Grundy, Lagacy was already shopping it around.
Yeah, so awesome. A lot coming up out there.
Good stuff. The Plymouth Motor Speedway, the 12th limited outlaw late models. I think that's their one and only show out there this
According to their
year.
That's a
Facebook
Friday
post,
night,
that is
too.
it. That's
Yep,
the
that is the
night,
Friday
yes.
night deal.
I didn't see anything listed for Saturday.
Nah, me neither.
So maybe a concert.
Yeah, it
I
might
don't
be a
know. But
concert.
I thought all their concerts were August.
I don't know, but if
Look it up on
Look it up.
PlymouthSpeedway.com.
yeah, on their Facebook
Yeah,
page.
their Facebook page.
And then on the
Yeah.
20th, it's got the Sandlot 88 Sportsman 10,000. Plus the Mid-Am Series makes their debut at the Plymouth Motor Speedway, and I bet you that will be a pretty good show to see the Mid-Ams out there.
Hopefully Scotty Gardner brings a couple extra rear ends.
I won't be there, so you should be good. I'm not planning on being there.
And then Brian, what we got going on at the Kankakee County Speedway coming up here?
There's actually quite a bit. So actually, speaking of Mid-Ams, they've got their doubleheader on dirt. Friday night.
Doubleheader.
Friday night, the 12th here, they're going to be at Kankakee County Motor Speedway. And then they follow that up with the part 2 at Sycamore on Saturday night. And then Kankakee will have the regular show of Vintage Series along with them. Next weekend, they're doing $1,000 to win stock cars. And then they're off a week. And then they got a fair night. And then they're off 2 weeks. And then they come back on the 16th with our friends over there at Illinois Stock Car Hall of Fame and reunion night in August. So I kind of put a lot on there for them because we're not going to be back and they're not going to be back. And so write it down.
Yeah, there you go.
Go see our old friends August 16th.
Yeah.
At Kankakee.
Yeah. So
County
Right
Speedway.
before August 24th, the Illinois Stock Car Hall of Fame induction ceremony.
Yeah,
which
that's going to be a fun
we're
weekend
still
for
gonna do
us.
A coin toss over which one of us shows up to.
Yeah.
so that was a little shameless self promotion there, but
A little bit. I mean, every time I see Jerry Clark or Art Fairman send me a message maybe once a month, making sure one of us is going to be there in August, and I think we've got it.
You got the
planned.
better equipment.
How many times?
That's
do you steal
wait,
that
time
equipment?
out.
Wait.
You have the better cameras.
Wait a minute.
Nope,
Talking
we're
about
not
Chris's
editing that out.
talk about Chris's equipment on here. Hey now.
Well, at least doesn't hand it to me.
That's a different show.
All right. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah, let's get to our one positive for
I'm
the
going
week.
first. My one positive is the one and only Jacob Golwick. Love the enthusiasm and the emotion, and I think it just really speaks volumes about how racing can get into the blood, and it's there, and that's what we love to see. And I think him showing that was awesome, and winning that first late model win after hearing his story, going down and getting a new car in Alabama after struggling with it and just continue to persevere and keep going, because you'll get there. You just got to keep going. Don't sit and complain and wonder why it's not happening to you. Just go make it happen. Wrench on your car, know what's going on, know how to fix it, learn, talk, listen, and when you do get to victory lane, I've seen countless first-time winners. Philip McCord this year won, I think, the same night. Bradley Roundtree, unfortunately, got DQ'd on some, I guess we'll call them cheater parts because that's what they were. I'm not sure how bad it was. Did he put the wrong
Technical
thing on?
difficulties.
Right. Had his first win, and he was very excited to be there. But, he buys a lot of pictures from us, so that was cool. But ultimately, that emotion of first-time winners has got to be one of my favorite things about what I do at the racetrack and being a photographer. So he is my one positive.
Chris, what do you got?
My one positive, I guess, will be I survived the weekend. One positive is Chevrolet for building a great 2015 Silverado that I bought used. The Illinois Highway Department for not screwing up the traffic all the way there all 4 days. And really just the Grundy County Fair for being, excellent host. I mean, we're out there every week anyway, but, just the amount of people I saw camping, the crowd was a little low, but, add everybody up over the weekend. Like we talked about, racing's expensive. So over the whole weekend, we saw a lot of racing. Some of it dumb, some of it boring, some of it really good. But, that was a long weekend that we survived. I got 1.5 billion pictures. It was fun. I had fun. We're having fun.
This is fun. We're having fun.
But, it's stuff like that he likes, the emotion, and there's a lot of cool there. But just being around a racetrack for that, like, I kind of forgot I had a day job there for a few days, and that in itself was fun.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess being at Grundy for 4 days straight
And surviving it.
Yeah.
Now you're back to that day job.
Yeah, now I go back to the day job, and I still got about 400 of those 6,000 pictures to edit. So that's I probably should have taken this week off the day job too, but I just like being around racing.
Yeah, nothing wrong
There's
with
a
that.
lot of racing.
Nothing wrong with that. So my hashtag one positive, and I already gave props to the Grundy County safety team. So I'm not going to count that. My hashtag one positive is going to go to my car owner. Stan has put in a lot of hours cutting, grinding, welding on my car. I put in what I can there as well, but I know he's done a little bit more without me there and stuff, just kind of get things straightened back out, man. So he's kind of, yeah, exactly. Kind of, for me, I've never really wrecked one of the race cars before. Kind of a different experience. I haven't really raced a whole lot, a lot of partial stuff here and there. So you kind of get down on yourself, like, tore it up. That's the season. We're done. We'll get it back out maybe next year. Because late models now your number one focus. It has been going into this program. That was understood. So just the extra time he's put in on the car to get it going. It's that. Brotherhood, that's that camaraderie, it's that just kind of get the cars back out on the racetrack and let's go back and have fun. He wasn't intimidated, wasn't scared. We just started cutting stuff and bending stuff back, and he wasn't intimidated or scared by it at all. So that helps kind of keep you motivated, helps you get your focus back right. Like, all right, we'll fix it, we'll get it back out in a few weeks, and it'll be all right.
That's one of my favorite things about Stan is he can have his moments, but at the same time, I don't think I've ever met anybody so, all right, well, let's put that moment to the side and get right back to the grindstone. And, it's that kind of
Stan's the man.
Abundance of positivity that.
Yeah. So he gets my one positive for the week. So anybody out there, if you want to leave a hashtag one positive, something you experienced at the racetrack this week, or just in general about the racing world, racing community, drop it in the comments either here on our YouTube page or on Facebook on the socials as well. Our YouTube page, obviously, if you're on it right now watching this video, hit that like and subscribe button. Get notified every time we drop a new episode. It really all just kind of helps us help you, man. So if our videos are getting out there, we're going to want to keep making them. And if we keep making them, you'll keep enjoying them. It's a circle thing. It really is. So make sure to like and subscribe there if you would rather, or
Can
you
we call it an oval thing.
Oh, it's oval thing. Sure. That works. Well, if circular, I'll be at Circle Cities, Indy, and I'll be in the Brickyard next week. So, I'll be down there next week. So that's why we won't record next week. But I digress. Back to the old.
I think we're back on our every other week.
Yeah, we should be back on the every other.
Over.
Yeah. So we should be back on that every other week schedule.
So we'll have a report from Jeremy on how Indy went.
Yeah. So that will be in the next episode. If you prefer or don't want to sit down and watch the video, and you only want to listen on the audio podcast, that's fine too.
That makes sense.
We're good.
I drive a truck for a living.
Yeah, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, we're out there.
Thanks,
wherever
Mom, we love you.
wherever you get your audio podcasts from, we are there as well. As long as you're going, liking stuff and doing all that, make sure to hit Facebook and Instagram as well at Illiana SCR. Again, just keep updated everything we've got going on here. We like to any big news and stuff that happens on our local racetracks or drivers, we like to share that too. Get all that out there. Do all that. Just follow us. Help us help you. Share our stuff too. Like, get it out there. Yeah. Share it to. If we don't share it to one of the fan forum pages or whatever, go ahead and do that for us if you want.
Yeah. Tony, I think when Tony posts something, he posts it to every racing page I've heard of and several I haven't.
Yeah. So between the three of us, we all have day jobs. It's hard to post and share stuff to all the pages and everything. So if you just want to help us out with that, that would be greatly appreciated.
Bring us into your circle.
Yes.
Even though you're in our circle, bring us into your circle.
Yeah.
Bring us into your oval.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So we will have a new episode for you in a couple weeks. Guest is TBD. We'll get off air and we'll kind of
TBD.
Yeah. We'll get off air and we'll figure all that stuff out. But
I hear Haley Deegan's free these days.
You know, Carrie Martin would love that.
So
yeah,
Royster.
yeah. So we'll get on that. But otherwise, anything else this week? We cover it all. Good.
We're
Bueller.
good.
Bueller.
Get your
I
backside.
haven't done
trackside.
anything other than editing pictures, so I don't know.
Yeah, and he's got more to edit. So, with that being said, once again, please like, subscribe, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, on Spotify. Do the rate and review, follow, all that good stuff. It helps us help you because we enjoy bringing this to you, and we hope you enjoy listening it. Again, I want to thank Jacob Kolwick. Right? Is that it?
That's it.
I see it, and in the head it just doesn't. It doesn't stick. Words are
One
hard.
of them Eastern European.
I won't even go there. I want to thank him for coming on and congratulate him on his first feature win. Hope he,
models.
yeah. So hope he enjoyed coming on here, and hope you guys enjoyed him on the show. Hope you guys enjoyed everything you saw here. Again, if you do, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. I don't know how many times I have to say it until it
least one
sticks. Until it sticks. We want to drive those numbers up. So that being said, I want to thank you guys for watching or listening to Illiana Stock Car Radio. We will see you next time.